Welcome, race fans, back to SVR. My name is Webbo, here to join you for today's race, and this is how the championship looks after round 3 at Suzuka. JCGT leads the G2 division on 48 points, with Apex Not Found on 33. Pumpkin King is third on 26, narrowly ahead of Redux on 25. Quicks is on 24, Monkey Games 23. It's very, very close. Then comes Mardenborough 19, Motsky on 17. We have Bad Court Thingy on 15, Apex Specs 11, with Gubanov Chiari on 10 points. Kelvin has 8, Icons has 6, Ed Fields has 1 point. And at the top of the Teams Championship, Kimmies have 63, Delessi 60, with Buckstein 56. Coach Dave is in 4th with 44, Jamplacht on 39 points, just one ahead of Team Mega on 38, and we have Brokaga on 27 points. It's time to get ourselves down onto the grid and see how things look for qualifying. At the back of the grid was Gubanov, our Canadian Team Mega driver, just ahead of Kelvin the Boss, also from Canada, in the Jamplacht at Lamborghini. The Brokaga Supra of Breo is in 11th, and Quicks is racing what appears to be a classic Skyline rather than the GTR Nismo. I just want to make sure I've got that correct. Maybe not, but it's certainly a change livery here for the Buckstein transport service car. Then next up, we've got Monkey Games for Delessi in 9th place. Alongside him, Rhino just ahead in the typical Buckstein transport service color scheme. Then we have Apex Specs in the Team Darkside Racing Resurgence, very Darth Vader-esque Coach Dave Academy car. Apex Specs in 17th. We have Bad Court Thingy in 6th for the Kimmies Racing Team Ferrari. Look at these Ferraris go on the start. We have Apex Not Found for Coach Dave Darkside on in 5th place. Redux qualified in 4th in that matte black Jamplacht interior with the light blue accents and unicorns. Then comes JCGT Championship leader on the second row of the grid. Then we have a guest driver. That's Finn, and you'll know Finn from the AN division dominance, and he has got himself into a GT3 car. He absolutely hates the Lexus, so we'll see if anything comes from that. With Pumpkin King for Delessi, unfortunately looks like his livery may not have made it all the way through on this broadcast today, but Pumpkin King in a all white instead of just mostly white Porsche. So it's time to get underway with our racing. Let's get you a decent camera angle and a good place to start the grid. Pumpkin King alongside newcomer Finn on the front row of the grid. No one really believed Finn when he said he didn't like that Lexus and he would be pretty awful at this race, but let's wait and see what happens. I've got my marching orders. I know where we're going. And this is the final race then for the SVR rounds at Interlagos before the drivers and team and crew all head over to Daytona. Okay, I hope you're all ready for this one, and I certainly am. 50-minute race around Interlagos with a potential sunset finish. We have round 4 awaiting us then for the G2 division. The 5 red lights build, the revs build with them. And it's dropped the clutch and go immediately. There goes the Ferrari up into 2nd position of JCGT. I think he's even got himself up into 4th. Apex Not Found down in the order, and there's the 2nd of the Ferraris. That is Bad Court Thingy screaming into 2nd place. Looked like Pumpkin King with a slight error, or certainly wide, going through the cover. They'll cover 1 for the first time, and Rhino in 6th place with Apex Not Found down to 7th. Kelvin the Boss chasing him hard here. Kelvin the Boss on the medium tyres. Drivers have a decent choice of tyre compounds to use, as Quicks is in 9th place. Gubanov, Breo, Apex Specs and Monkey Games at the back of the grid, but it's JCGT in the Ferrari, already with a 1-second track limit penalty, but he's gone off like a scolded cat from the line, as these Ferraris tend to. There goes Finn settling into third position, one ahead of pole sitter Pumpkin King in the Porsche. The Lexus driver, Finn, getting used to how this car is going to handle on the medium tyres here on this first few corners of the lap. It is Finn in that third place, Pumpkin King chasing him down, then Pumpkin King on the medium tyres, Redux on the hard tyres though. Looks to be in a good position and going stealth mode, I think, as soon as the sunset starts to take effect. Rhino, Apex not found. Kelvin the Boss up from near the back of the grid all the way up to P8 then, doing a great launch there on the medium tyres. Quicks in the Nissan is ahead of Gubanov in P10. Behind him, bit of a battle going on. Breo, I think, defending from Apex Specs, who goes into the P11 then, as they head down and uphill to the crest and over the top as they head into Curva 1 for the second time of asking Breo down into second position. Monkey Games into third, and Bad Court Thingy, thanks to that penalty, has got himself ahead of teammate and championship leader JCGT. Both cars on the medium tyres. JCDT probably not best pleased about the situation. Pumpkin King sliding around the outside of Finn as the Ferraris part ways and welcome the Porsche of Pumpkin King to go straight on through. JCGT back into the lead of the race as Pumpkin King taking this one pretty chill around the outside of Laranjinha and into SA and into second place. So on the comeback through the corners, he's doing a great job so far. And there we just had a little flash of his livery for a moment, but Bad Court Thingy has a 2-second penalty now. I think just the way that the cars sort of parted and going through Decido del Lago was where that penalty was picked up for Bad Court Thingy. He's in third place, but he will drop down. It really pays dividends to be very careful as he makes contact and puts Pumpkin King into a slight slide. Now he takes the penalty and breezing on by. Go first Finn, then Redux, and I think it will be Apex not found, followed by Kelvin the Boss, Apex Specs, and even possibly Gubanov, thanks to the positioning of that penalty marker position. Here comes Apex Specs. He'll have to do it onto the brakes. The dark side livery going down the inside, and well, we cut away at the most inopportune moment. Looks like Finn just had a move and made a move past Pumpkin King, and it was a little bit of retaliation for the earlier pass down the inside. No, it's Pumpkin King going super wide. Finn was quite wide himself, but Pumpkin King opening the door there essentially to Finn to get through. So it is back to JCGT and Finn at the head of the field. There is Pumpkin King in P3 with Redux in that fourth position. Remember, Redux on the hard tyres and warming them up nicely and into a great position. The lead car, I believe, on the hard tyres of all of them. So in the best position at the moment, if he can continue to keep the pace running well. Apex not found, doing a great job up into fifth place with Rhino in that sixth place in the Buckstein Transport Service white and teal Nismo GTR. Bad Court Thingy down to seventh, then it's Apex Specs and Kelvin the Boss fighting into the SA corner next to each other, with Apex in 8th, Kelvin the Boss in 9th, and Gubanov in that 10th position then for Team Mega, just following them behind. We've got Quicks in 11th, Breo is in 12th place, and Monkey Games in the Delesi Porsche at the moment at the back. However, on the hard tyres and putting himself in a good position for later on. This is Quick's Buckstein Transport Service with the black nose. I thought it was the Skyline with the way the rear end looked with all those stripes, but it is in fact the Nismo GTR. So he is in the right car, and he's just got that different livery on the car. Lots of drivers very used to the Buckstein being white dominant with the teal. Having that black stripe will be a little bit confusing for them as Pumpkin King and Finn continue their race-long battle, certainly 4-lap long battle at the moment. Here is Pumpkin King on board, as you can see in his mirror as well, and he's trying to get that good slipstream. I think he's slightly too far away to go for the move. He's going to go for it anyway. And I think making it through at least. Well, Finn is going to continue to fight. He's right there with him. Pumpkin King trying to get that proper racing line. And look at Finn with the drive on the way out of the corner. What a great battle between these two. Unfortunately, it's probably slowing them down in the hunt for P1, but Finn versus Pumpkin King continues as Finn takes a defensive line going on into the left-hander Pinheirino, and then onwards towards Bico di Pato. Careful there not to open the door into Bico di Pato. It's quite possible to get a very late lunge, and I think that's what's going on with Bad Court Thingy and Apex Not Found. Rhino's trying to go around the outside as well. Here is Bad Court Thingy. I think he was trying to take that inside line, and it might have worked, and he's doing a good job at the moment. Really good speed, but he has got some hard tyre runners in front of him. Who is that? Redux possibly steering left on the way out of Yun Sao. That usually indicates to the drivers following that you're headed into the pit lane. But no, he's not going to pit just yet. I think it'll be a while before he heads into the pits. And we are over 10% through this race. It's JCGT ahead of Pumpkin King and Finn. Then comes the rest of the battle pack at the moment, and a great run here for Apex Spec. Gubanov is being dropped by these two. This is Apex Specs in the dark side, racing historic livery for the Coach Dave Academy car. He's got a good line onto the corner, but that was an early move across the run. And then Rhino and Apex Not Found coming together, I think, on the way into Decido de Lago. Let's have a look at this this was Apex Not Found and Backcourt Thingy. So they're going to go into the corner. That's a hugely late lunge into the corner, and then we saw a big slide. Let's maybe watch that one more time from off-board, because certainly he was flashing his lights on the way out of the corner. That's not always in aggression. Sometimes that is a driver just mishitting the corner. Now that was early braking possibly, but a huge contact. That was a big slide from Bagcourt Thingy, and well held from him. He definitely gets a Webbo style point for that one, and wiping his feet as he goes through. Apex Specs on Apex Not Found, our Spaniard against the American, both using the Apex name, and that's how that one worked out. Look at the pattern across the windshield here for Apex Not Found. That must be slightly distracting from the Audi dashboard. And running through then, JCGT Finn and Pumpkin King are your top three. Let's check those drivers out again and see how they are progressing. Well, in terms of progressing towards the lead of the race, not at all, but they are continuing to fight each other, which is great to see. Badcourt Thingy, followed by Apex Specs, Apex Not Found, then over to Rhino, Gubanov in 9th, we have Quicks in 10th, Breo in 11th, just trying to see if we've got any further battling going on. Monkey Games is in 12th, and I think Kelvin the Boss must have been off circuit as he's dropped back behind Monkey Games at this time. So the main action at the moment appears to be between Finn and Pumpkin King, although I'm seeing something here potentially building between Badcourt Thingy and Apex Not Found. I think that was a penalty possibly that Badcourt Thingy was just paying, and allowed both Apexes through for Coach Dave, and that will certainly draw some ire from Badcourt Thingy, who would probably have a good excuse to appeal to the stewards. Pumpkin King with the fastest first sector as he uses the toe and tries to catch and pass the Lexus driver Finn, racing for Team Mega. Remember, Finn is the leader of the AN division, but that is a junior division for our newcomers and racing drivers in training. So making a considerably different step in car performance, handling characteristics and visibility in the GT3, and so far showing very nicely indeed. Here comes Badcourt Thingy then, as he comes through the Pinheirino corner. He now needs to try and fight a way by both Audi R8 GTs. Badcourt Thingy on the medium tyres. Well, in fact, Apex Specs choosing the soft tyres to start the race. So that's certainly an interesting and unusual choice from him. Those soft tyres will be wearing through very quickly. The Audi, not a particularly kind car on the tyres, you have to say. And Badcourt Thingy, who was up to 3rd position off through turns 1, 2 and 3 of the race, finding himself back down in 7th. So the advantage of that Ferrari has definitely been nullified. Here comes Apex Not Found, potentially within striking distance of his teammate. Has a little look in his mirrors, just keeps him checking as we go back to Pumpkin King and Finn here. We get very close to Pumpkin King's incorrect livery. We head down towards Decido del Lago, and again that Porsche performing beautifully through the first 3 corners of the race. And at the moment, Finn able to hold him off throughout the remaining 2 sectors of the lap. And that's the appearance of the cars as they come through Decido del Lago in the background and head in towards Ferradura in the foreground. Into now going through the SA corner, as you can hear the tyres screaming, and a little slide from the Porsche. Sliding Porsche is generally a happy Porsche, but it's not great for your tyres. Redux in 4th place, kind of on his own here a little bit, and then we go back to essentially, well, we've just had a problem for Apex Specs. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Apex. I'm going back several positions here. Here we have it. So several groups of seconds. There is Apex Specs. Oh, it was a slide through Curva 1 and the Estel Senna, and that's what became of Apex Specs. So he slipped down in the order, unfortunately down to 7th. That promotes Bad Court Thingy up past 1 of the Coach Dave Academy cars. And this is lap 7 and minute 10 of the 50. Now that was quite well over the apex curb of SA from Bad Court Thingy. However, race control appear to be allowing that in race anyway. We're waiting to see what the stewards make of abusing the track limits right up to the curb. But certainly on race day, race control allowing a certain amount of latitude here, as they are GT3 cars, and we are going around the Interlagos circuit. So many of the corners appear to be the track limits on the curb rather than the white line. It is Quicks then running in the black and teal Bergstein Transport Service Nismo GTR in P10 at the moment. Looks like he's got a good run on Gubanov and making his way through. I think Gubanov presumably having a small off-throttle penalty for a moment as Apex Specs pits from the soft tyre, and he'll be switching out onto a different compound. I imagine we need to change compound, although I don't believe there's a requirement for the compound, for any specific compound to be used. I fully expect everyone to use the medium at some stage in today's race. Monkey Games is in 11th. Apex Specs is coming out of the pits on a second set of soft tyres. I believe, no, he's gone onto the mediums. That was just a delay from the game. So Kelvin the Boss in 13th place, also going faster than he has gone before in that 13th place at the back of the grid. And JCGT leads us by an increasing margin. Pumpkin King looks to have got past Finn. Let's see if we can find where that happened. Was it into turn 1 again? Potentially, I think it was. No, this is Decido del Lago, round the outside of Decido del Lago for Pumpkin King on Finn on lap 8. So they continue to fight. Finn going to the inside line in towards Ferradura, holding on, but Pumpkin King essentially with the faster line into the corner managed to hold on and just sneak that tail ahead before making any contact. So nice clean racing so far from these two rivals, Pumpkin King and Finn. I know we often practice together with Pumpkin King and have a lot of fun, but this is not fun. This is serious sim racing for championship points. Now obviously Finn collecting for the team rather than for himself in the championship, but yeah, it's definitely an enthralling battle between these two medium tyres for both cars. Identical strategies, it's just the difference between driver and car manufacturer that we're talking. Obviously engine position for the Porsche is a rear engine car, and the Lexus a front engine car. Of course both rear wheel drive, but it does mean that Porsche does understeer quite badly into the corners. Excuse me, no, he oversteers through the corner progression, and it will snap on the drivers at a moment's notice. Here comes Finn then, losing out slightly on this phase at the moment. There's no boost, of course, for the drivers. This is all done just by classic racing, Another good sector there from Redux on the hard tyre, not out of touch by any stretch, definitely still within a pit stop window of the top 3. Redux driving very well indeed. We've got Apex Not Found then on the medium tyres, ahead still of Gautier-Thornton. Then comes Rhino in P7. We have Quicks, teammate of Rhino, albeit in a different livery, in 8th. Gubanov in 9th. Breo in the Brokaga Supra in P10. Monkey Games on the hard tyres in the Delesi with the official livery in P11. Apex Specs on those new medium tyres then in P12. Hasn't filled the tank, but filled it sufficiently to run the tyres through a stint. And then we've got Kelvin the Boss at the back on the medium tyres as well. Back to the battle as it was for that second position. Well, Pumpkin King is stretching away as the stint wears on and the tyres wear through. Looks like Pumpkin King able to live with the slightly slidier tyre deg. That front right is the most punished tyre around this circuit, and it's possible that having the engine at the rear of the car is helping to protect those fronts here. Obviously, when we get to a rear-dominated track, that will be a very different kettle of fish for the Porsches. But here, it is always that front right through the Decido del Lago. When you turn, anytime you turn left quickly, Decido del Lago, through Mergulo and through Curva del Sol, that front right tyre taking a real beating. Back to the Ferrari and the Audi battle of Apex Not Found and Gautier-Thornton. Well, Gautier-Thornton was getting close and then had a little slide going through Decido del Lago. Looks like he's avoided a penalty this time, but track limits exceptionally strict on the outside of Decido del Lago. Just protecting from any Verstappen lines through that corner, I think. But right now, at least, that gap has opened a little bit more than we were seeing before. Gubanov started near the back of the grid in his Stealth Edition Team Mega Lexus. Looks good out there in the sunshine. It'll look even better at night. But Gubanov in P9 for Team Mega. Breo still in P10. That's JCGT pitting then, the first of the top 3 to pit. That's an interesting situation for him. Obviously pushing that Ferrari pretty hard and harder than Pumpkin King and Finn on their tyres. Monkey Games in 11th, Apex Specs in 12th, and Kelvin the Boss at the back of the grid still at the moment. So now these two drivers fighting for what is P1 at the moment. However, obviously JCGT will be coming through. It looks like those medium tyres were less worn than Finn's and Pumpkin King's. But JCGT obviously playing it fairly safe here today, and fitting the hard tyres now after 16 minutes on the medium tyre. 11 laps total on the medium tyre for these two. For JCGT, that's actually dropped him all the way down to P8. So didn't really wait for the grid to spread out or to pit behind him. His team obviously unable to find him a gap in the field to run to. So we'll see if that has a problem later on. Where does JCGT come out? Well, he does have a slower car in front of him at the moment, but on those new hards, it's going to be a bit of a challenge, and he could well be vulnerable here to a closing gap to the current top 2 of the race, Pumpkin King and Finn. So up just a couple places further up, you've got Gubanov now up into 6th place thanks to that pit stop of JCGT, and Quicks in 5th. So this one getting quite interesting between the two of them, the Lexus versus the Nissan. Far from the home of the manufacturers here in Brazil. It's a warm, if slightly overcast day in Brazil, racing in the mid-afternoon at Sao Paulo. Lots of drivers obviously keen to show well at this historic circuit. Breo has dropped down thanks to a pit stop incoming. So we're back to the action then at the head of the field. This is Pumpkin King versus Finn once again. Let's join Finn on board here, as he looks for a weakness possibly in Pumpkin King's end of his tyre run. Remember that front right, so every time we turn left, that front right is needing to be protected. Finn right down into first gear and using first gear to throttle out of Pinheiro. Now we go into Pico di Pato, and we'll join him on the bonnet cam, on the hood cam, as it were, and running out wide. So we're running nearly 2 seconds slower than we have been before. This is an opportunity for Finn, because Pumpkin King was wide at the apex. He is also suffering on that tyre, I think. Yeah, you can see that the tyre definitely problematic. Do we go into the pit lane? We absolutely do. This has caught some drivers out in the other league, and Pumpkin King, goodness me, full spin on the way into the pit lane. That was full commitment if ever I've seen it. Did we get a penalty potentially incoming? Because we wow, I don't think I've seen a driver quite pitch the car like that into the pits before. So bravo to Pumpkin King for doing something new. Now Redux has only taken those hard tyres as far as Finn and Pumpkin King have taken the mediums, but he has split the race into almost 1/3 distance. So if he is planning to do a hard medium strategy, that could be the plan here. Use the hards as little as possible. We cut to Rhino, who is mid-slide and nosing into the barrier. Heavy damage on the cars at the worst possible time, because it's right at the start of the lap. It's quite a short lap, but it's still the whole distance of the track to go round and pick up a new set of tyres. However, he has at least done it near the end of his stint. JCGT is out of the pits comfortably ahead of Pumpkin King and Finn, who both exit the pits on new sets of hard tyres, but they're behind Monkey Games at this stage. Monkey Games started on the hards, so not a huge tyre delta between Monkey Games, Pumpkin King, his teammate in the Delesi, and Finn in the Lexus. Now this could be interesting in terms of team cooperation going on. Finn obviously taking it very carefully through Ferradura and Laranjinha on these new hard tyres, fully off throttle, long delay before powering down. So let's have a look at this one as Finn comes through the left-hander of Pinheiro. It's down towards Pico di Pato now, and looking for that opportunity. Possible double toe incoming here for Finn, if he can cue this up nicely. A little slide through Mergulio. It's thanks to those cold hard tyres. Needs to close in, get on that throttle as early as possible. Didn't really touch the curb in Yonsao, so he's going to try and steal a toe from both cars here if he can. Looks like Monkey Games allowing his teammate through comfortably as we run all the way through. Past the pits, of course. Rhino leads us. Didn't pit after picking up that damage on the lap previously. I think might be trying to use the soft tyres. Finn almost colliding with Monkey Games into Curve 1. Now they go through Esto Senna, and a full slide going on for Finn as he tries to scrub those tyres clean, getting onto the marbles. He can see his main rival disappearing in front of him, but Monkey Games doing everything he should do here, and that is driving his own racing lines. Finn faster thanks to those tyres, I think, through the next corner, shapes himself to the outside, puts himself in a slightly vulnerable position here. He knows Monkey Games is on the older tyres. A little switchback incoming, but Monkey Games holding the car nicely at the apex. Will we go for a dive bomb on the right? Not quite, but things getting a little bit tense here for Finn as he tries to keep with Pumpkin King, who he's been fighting with ever since the start of this race. Down the outside now for a switchback on the way through Pico di Pato. Again, just the rear tyres lighting up slightly. We cannot find a way through to the apex in front of Monkey Games, and he might be feeling like Monkey is playing games here. Now onto the throttle comfortably for Finn. Surely the traction will pay dividends here as we run through the next order, run through the next two left-handers, which are flat out. That is Subido dos Box. Looks like we are struggling for top speed here relative to the Porsche. A full weave round, a little defensive move there from Monkey Games. Has to leave the door open now, I believe. And down into the inside, into Curva 1 we go. On board with Finn, leaving the space to the outside. Nice overtake in the end there, but it's cost him acres of time and position to Pumpkin King as we run down Retta Aposta, the 15th time at full racing speed. Finn finally into clear air and has got himself ahead, and now it's on the humpback once again. Let's have a look, because Monkey Games, having held up Finn for at least a lap, now finds himself vulnerable to Apex Specs, who is closing in. Apex Specs going for a manoeuvre. Now, was there a little bit of contact there between these two as they ran into Ferradora here, the right-hander coming up? Certainly the Porsche was offline and had a little squirm on the way through. Let's see, was it a last-minute lunge? I think we did have the tiniest bit of contact. Apex Specs just rubbing his racing, but I'm not sure the stewards are going to let that one slide, so to speak, quite so easily. So Apex Specs then up into P6 as he's following then another black and red car, this time for Team Mega. That is the Lexus of Finn, who has dropped to 5th. Pumpkin and Finn now from 2nd and 3rd into 4th and 5th. JCGT has pitted. Rhino has not. I think Rhino is pitting now, or has let JCGT through. Yeah, confusing one there. Why is Rhino still out on the damaged Bugstein? I think just wanting to take those laps, those tyres as far into the race as possible. JCGT passing Rhino, who is on the very oldest hards, I think, next to his teammate Quicks. They are going all the way through to lap 16 and more, possibly, for the drivers. That is pretty adventurous. Here comes Finn then, heading through and going past the pit lane, past the start-finish line, and Finn is in that 5th place. Potential podium still very much on here for the debutant in the Lexus for Team Mega. Apex Specs in P6, and it is a beautiful sounding car, the Audi. The harmonics, the sort of resonance of that exhaust is absolutely amazing as they head down into the Cida del Lago, and Apex Specs on the medium tyres is gaining time here on the cars in front of him, who are having to use those hard tyres at this stage. Finn has the fastest lap, a 34.218, and he's now closing in on Rhino, who is a moving roadblock at this stage thanks to the damage and the old hard tyres. We'll just see if Finn manages to navigate past Rhino any easier than he did past Monkey Games, who has now at this stage dropped down. Oh, round the outside goes Finn. Rhino may not have seen him, but Finn managing not to spin on the way through the corner. It's Rhino that's flashing his lights, I'm not quite sure why, but that is Finn then losing time once again, as I think Pumpkin King has just got by Quicks in front. They're effectively lapping at this stage. It is a race for position, of course, but the Quicks and his Bugstein Transport Service teammate Rhino very much slower at this stage. Rhino is now finally pitting, 1 lap too late for Finn. Apex Specs coming on, leaps and bounds then on the medium tyres. We've seen him go for a late dive bomb. It wasn't to be. I don't know if there was a touch of contact there between the two of them, because the camera angle was horrific for a moment. So just maybe try and check this angle as they head down. Yeah, there was contact. Big slide from Finn. Once again, he's having to recover from being hit from behind. Apex Specs didn't gain any time. In fact, I think lost time overall in that exchange. And now Redux coming on through the Curva del Sol is following him nicely. We've got medium tyres for both Apex Specs in the Audi and Redux in the Lamborghini. Redux on the in the matte black and blue Jann plaqued interiors car. Normally that is a glossy black and beautiful metallic gold, but Redux obviously preferring the baby blue and matte paint finish or wrap. nice battle beginning between these two rivals at the moment as they run through. Then this is lap 17. We are past the halfway point on the race at this stage, and running on, progressing nicely. Then the hard tyres to the mediums for Redux, still very much in the hunt here. The leader's not too far away from Redux, although I think he'll be keen to get by Apex Specs at the earliest opportunity. He's got a good run out of Yun Sao. He's definitely got a good slipstream going on here. Redux following in the wheel tracks, and it really helps it is the nightmare wind direction for the drivers, that easterly wind as they head through this corner. Cars get really light as they crest over the hill and are turning at the same time. In front of them you've got Finn following Quicks, and Quicks I think defending to the inside, still on the hard tyres from the start of the race. Finn though round the outside, and that is just traction and grip paying into the manoeuvre there, and Finn breezing by, but Pumpkin King getting further and further away at this stage. JCGT also, Finn was fighting over second position, but he might be more concerned about holding on to third at this stage. Apex Specs stayed ahead of Redux then, the number 17, as they follow the 34 of Quicks. And, let's see if he can find a way by here. Goes to the inside through through Pinerino. That becomes the outside into Bico di Pato, which again becomes the inside into the next switchback, Mergulo. And a neat and tidy pass then from Apex Specs up into 4th place. Redux trying to follow him through into that 5th place then, and parking it neatly on the apex of Yun Sao, powering down. But will Quicks be able to get the power down that little fraction earlier in the GTR? I think though it's the tyre differential. Quicks running all the way to 30 minutes, just about 29.5 minutes for Redux as he heads into the pits off those hard tyres. And I wonder if he'll be using just one set of tyres, or possibly will he go for mediums and softs at the end of this race. But I think Quick's trying to one-stop this one, although he's been far from quick at the start of this lap, and the start of this stint. So the first half an hour he's been on a bit of a slow tour on the hard tyres, running very long and very deep into the race. The Gazoo Racing option livery here for the Lexus Team Mega, and brighter red than his teammate currently racing, who looks a lot more like a Dark Side Racing team driver at this stage. Just to run through the order, Baggot Thing is in 7th. We've got Breo in 8th place. Here is Finn's teammate, permanent teammate of the GT3 division, Gubanov. This is obviously G2, this race. Gubanov in 9th place. Quicks out of the pits onto the medium tyre in 10th place. Now, I would say that 20 minutes on the medium tyre isn't out of the realm of possibility if you've done 30 on the hards. Rhino for Bugstein is behind Quicks in 11th. Monkey Games is in 12th, and Kelvin the Boss still at the back of the grid, and I think starting to be at risk of being lapped by JCGT, who, yes, indeed, is the next one behind him on track. So JCGT using red wheels here in the Kimi's car, but at the moment leading the championship, leading the race, and doing a fantastic job of bringing that Ferrari forward on the grid, and then holding firm and holding position. Been unchallenged really at this stage. JCGT, Pumpkin King in 2nd and Finn in 3rd, but we still have a bit of a battle going on, and it's right here on your screen. It is Apex Specs going wide and allowing Redux through, sadly. I think showing the breast cancer awareness ribbon on the driver door. Then we've got a yellow flag in front. We've got a yellow flag. Someone has potentially been off circuit. I wonder, that was momentary only, and I wonder if that was potentially the lapping happening. The first of the cars to be lapped by JCGT. Driver just getting out of the way. I wonder or just a moment where a driver just went slightly off track limits and hesitated on the throttle, and that's enough sometimes to trigger a yellow flag for awareness for the drivers as they run through then. JCGT, Pumpkin King, Finn, and here Redux in the Lamborghini, but he's slow through Yun Sao. Apex Specs might be able to get a run on him here. Let's join him on board as we try and get that slipstream. No, into the pits we go because we're out of fuel, and Apex Specs, now we saw this earlier, but that is not the stylish way of going into the pits from Apex Specs that we saw from Pumpkin King, over-egging it into the pit lane, and unfortunately that has delayed him significantly. Redux is in fourth. That's probably going to cost Apex Specs quite a significant amount of time now. Here is Finn just catching, not Pumpkin King in second. This is Finn catching the last place driver to put a lap on him. There are the blue flags allowing him through. Taking the inside line there, actually, through the left-hander at the Interlagos. Slightly frowned upon, but taking a predictable line at least was the lap driver. So Finn up into third place, but his gap to Pumpkin King, how far away is Pumpkin King? Can't quite see him, so he's a decent amount of time, maybe 5-6 seconds or so in front, as another yellow flag was there momentarily and then cleared again. Someone's got a very adventurous line going through the corners, but at the moment at least, Finn, he can see Pumpkin King, and you can hear Pumpkin King just sliding there on the way through Yun Sao. And actually, that's JCGT off. JCGT off the circuit. So perhaps that was the sliding noise that we heard. Here we go. Let's try and get you the best camera angle for a replay into Yun Sao. And it's the classic power down, is it? It is. And the rear getting out of shape fully onto the infield. And then it is difficult to recover. Those hard tyres have been chewed through quite quickly. Obviously JCGT pushing hard, but down to third place now, and that's Redux who's going to catch and pass him thanks to the momentum out of the final corner. So JCGT dropping all the way down to fourth. He hasn't damaged the car, but he's pitting nonetheless off the hard tyre and into the pits. So not happy with the tyres, not happy with the condition of the car. It is now Pumpkin King versus Finn for the win, I think. At this stage, Redux though still hanging on here, running low on fuel. Finn appears to have plenty of fuel on board, as does Pumpkin King. So possibly these guys are also one stopping, whereas Redux is definitely two stopping here. He went hard tired to start with. He's tried to go light and aggressive to stop and be quicker, and it's working so far. But of course, you've got to add a pit stop onto this run. JCGT pits with 55 litres of fuel on the car. I think he might have been trying to fuel that and tie that to a finish. So that's a problem, a real problem for him. Redux in third, Finn in second, Pumpkin King leading the way then in the Delesi Porsche at the moment on lap 22. 15 minutes remain for the drivers before the checkered flag will come out and mark the cards for the end of this race. Pumpkin King leads us, Finn second, and Redux now third. Great debut from Finn at this stage. Let's see if he can hang on as Redux running low on fuel, and I'm expecting to head in towards the pit lane. We've got Apex not found on about 24% fuel on the car, so that might likewise be too little to finish the race, but he's going deep into the second half of the race before he gets off those racing hard tyres. Redux is indeed into the pit lane, and JCGT, from leading the race, finds himself down into fifth place on with enough fuel to finish the race out, and a new set of medium tyres with 15 minutes to go, on more like 14 or 13 and a half now. But JCGT, that might be too far away. He's an entire pit stop away from the battle for the podium positions at this stage, held by Pumpkin King and Finn. He could get back his fourth place at least. He may well get back his third place, JCGT, but a spinella onto the grass for the Ferrari driver is far from ideal. Redux is on his way out of the pit lane there, but it is going to be behind JCGT. So JCGT on the mediums, Redux also on a new set of mediums, and JCGT for the first time this race will have a reasonably fast driver to fight with, I think, as they try and bring each other into the battle for the provisional podium. Apex not found on the hard tyres. Not a lot of fuel though left on the car. Certainly a lot less than Pumpkin King and Finn, who I believe, at least it looks like at this stage, are trying to one-stop this, start on the mediums and then run long on the hard tyres in the second portion of the race. You can just about still see Pumpkin King, but he's quite a distance away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6 seconds distant from Pumpkin King. And throughout the course of the first stint, Pumpkin King had the legs on Finn in the second part of the tyre wear phase. So let's see, as they pitted on the same lap, did these two. So it is an absolutely identical strategy. It's just a difference in car and driver that is being shown here today. JCGT in that 4th place. We have Redux following him, neat and tidy at the moment. Redux's race in 5th place. Rhino is in 6th. Then we've got relatively close drivers. You've got Quicks in 7th and Gubanov. Oh, well, it was close until Gubanov had to pay a penalty on the way up the hill. So that's killed all of his momentum and split the field again slightly here between 7th and 8th position. Monkey Games in 9th. We have Apex Specs passing the camera now in 10th place. But Breo and Badcourt Thingy fight over 11th. And this one probably well worth our attention. Again, fairly similar wear rates on the medium tyres, but more fuel on the Supra, significant amount more fuel on the Supra than the relatively economic Ferrari, certainly in this configuration of lap. Down we go into Curva 1, through the S del Sena, and now Curva del Sol, and Badcourt Thingy getting closer and closer. Had a really good run through there. And you've got Breo defending slightly, but not enough to completely close the door on the way into the next corner. Looks like it's going to be advantage Badcourt Thingy on the inside. Very often, if a driver hangs on the outside, they suffer, but Breo held it nicely. Breo holds on to the outside of the corners, still stays ahead sufficiently. In towards Ferradura we go, despite the little look to the inside from Badcourt Thingy. There was no way through at that stage. The Supra, now we shape to the inside, do we? Probably a slightly early turn-in from Breo, and Badcourt Thingy found himself unable to pounce in towards S8. Now we go into Bico di Pato, and there is the classic move heading into Bico di Pato. I think we may have had the tiniest bit of contact. Let's have a look at this again from the chase cam, as certainly the opportunity is there. Well, I don't know if there was actually contact. That was really hard to read, but certainly Breo offline and sliding as a result of contact, or as a result of being off that racing line. But Badcourt Thingy's in 11th now. May take the view that either he'll get away with it, or there wasn't any contact in the first place, and better to get ahead here and distance Breo if at all possible. But that it was the change of position then for 11th place. Badcourt Thingy ahead of Breo. Kelvin the Boss still in 13th position, just going another lap, going a lap down to, I think, that was JCGT after the pit stop. He's got damage as well, Kelvin the Boss, front and front right, and he's trying to limp home, I think, but that is certainly not going to be an easy job with the damage on the Lamborghini Huracan. There is Pumpkin King. There is your 2nd place driver, Finn, on the hard tyres. Both drivers trying to get home here, so it's about not making a mistake now, I think, rather than directly pressurising and fighting for the win here. Lap 26, 41 minutes have elapsed of the 50, very much into the dying embers of this race, as the Audi of Apex Not Found pits with just fumes, 5 litres of fuel left on the car. Apex Not Found will go into the pits. JCGT will now pass him and get into that provisional podium position, despite the little spin that he had prior to his what I think to be an unscheduled pit stop. Very aggressive on the apex is JCGT going through curve 1. That was certainly over the white line, but not fully over the curb. Will allow, I think, GT7 to control track limits for the time being when drivers are, certainly when they're alone. Anyway, Redux in 4th, and he has been gapped by JCGT at this stage. We've got Brino in 5th place. This is Quicks coming through in 6th, looking like an impressive move forward from the Bergstein Transport Service cars today. Monkey Games in 7th. Apex Not Found is trying to exit the pits ahead of teammate Apex Specs, but on the newer tyres. Will Apex Not Found be on softs? Absolutely. And the minimum amount of fuel he might need to finish this race out, but it is his outlap on the soft tyres. Apex Specs on the hards should be a no-brainer for the team to hold station here while Apex Specs gets his tyres up to temperature. Surprise for me to see Finn into the pit lane with no damage, and maybe feeling like he has a freebie, but certainly pitting with 30 litres of fuel. But those hard tyres were looking quite worn out. So committing to the second stop, Finn, I thought might be trying to get home, but it looks like the tyre wear on the hard tyres has been more than anticipated for the drivers, certainly for the commentator anyway. Soft tyres going on with Finn. I imagine very little in the way of fuel, and we'll join JCGT and see if Finn appears in front of us. Finn is already powering out of the pit lane, so Finn potentially looking for an undercut here on Pumpkin King to bring him into contention in the final few minutes of this endurance race around Interlagos. No sign at the moment of the sunset that we were hoping to see, because it is beautiful here in Interlagos at this time of year. And JCGT then on the medium tyres will have a similar fuel load to the Lexus of Finn in front. However, a big tyre offset, brand new softs for Finn, with just a few minutes of running left in the race. Finn still with the fastest lap, a 1:34.218. I would expect that to be dropped by Finn in the next few laps, if possible. Just a reminder, I have had absolutely no spoilers of this race whatsoever. So I'm privy to no special information at all. We in the Team Mega chat room, our drivers very kindly completely block out and spoiler any comments for the races I haven't yet seen. Redux is in 4th, JCGT in that 3rd position. We've got some good battling heading on through the field. Back here we've got Monkey Games in 7th, Apex Not Found in 8th, and Apex Specs in 9th place. This is Apex Not Found on the new soft tyres. Similar strategy at the moment to Finn. What does Pumpkin King decide to do here? Because Finn has obviously put the soft tyres and committed to that with that freebie pit stop. Pumpkin King can only essentially have a more pressurised race at the end of this stint if he were to pit like Finn. But I wonder what's happening here. It looked like both drivers headed toward the pit lane, but they were just taking the shortest route to the start-finish line. This is Apex Not Found down the inside of Monkey Games. This is a late one. They weren't alongside as Monkey Games goes a very wide run through turn 1. That will compromise him through turns 2 and 3. And Apex Not Found will get the run of all runs coming through Curva del Sol. He'll get the slipstream as well. Here we go on Monkey Games, shaping to the inside. Monkey Games has to brake that little bit earlier, of course, and classic overtake. Greatly positioned there from Apex Not Found. I'm sure he did just lift. It says never lift on his rear wing, but as I've said before, that's not official Coach Dave Academy advice, but more of a fun catchphrase that the team have developed through the run. That's Monkey Games then, who will hope to stem the flow here of positions, but it looks like he's struggling to get good apexes. Ironically enough, as the apex drivers try to come through. Monkey holding onto the inside line, but that means that the following corner is a switchback, and Apex Specs goes straight on through. Much better tyres though at this stage, even though they're a step harder. They are much younger on the cars. So Apex Specs and Apex Not Found getting through past Monkey Games for 7th and 8th places. Monkey Games hasn't had enough of these battles though. This is looking pretty good from him. Looks like, oh, a little Empire sticker on the car there, I've just noticed, on the rear quarter there for Star Wars Day, May the 4th, which was race day for the G2 drivers. And he continues to run here, doing his best, but it's kind of like I want to say a Blood Trooper. Is it Blood Trooper or Storm Trooper? I can't remember what type of trooper it is that have the red flashes on their cars. But the Porsche trying to channel their inner dark side, I think, today on this race day. Badcourt Thingy in 10th place. We've got Breo in 11th, and Gubinov. Sorry, that's Breo and having passed the lapped Lamborghini. That's why I'm getting slightly confused. I was looking for the Lamborghini name there for a moment of Kelvin. It's Gubinov in 12th, Kelvin the Boss in 13th. Pumpkin King with his lead at the moment, a significant lead right now over Finn, who I'm assuming now is only really trying to get the fastest lap of the race. Here he is. He's just got a new fastest lap. It's a 33.429 on those new soft tyres. Now the soft tyres will get worse as the fuel gets lighter, but he's still going quicker at this stage. Is Finn, just by 0.005 of a second in the first sector of the racetrack. There is the Lagos, the lake, that the racing track is in between. One of two of them anyway, into Lagos, heading in towards SA we go. We'll get an update on the lap progress after the next two corners. And are we trying to get another new fastest lap? But Pumpkin King, if he has enough fuel, ooh, I don't know that he does. Well, yes, maybe. A minute and a half left as he's about to cross the line. That should mean that he's starting his final lap here. Lap 31 will be, I think, his final lap. He'll certainly try and make it that way if it's marginal. Certainly Finn, this will be the start of his final lap coming up. Less than, of course, 1 minute 30 to go. As long as I'm doing my maths correctly, I think I am. As Finn fires out at Jonsau. And will we get a new fastest lap of the race from Finn? Not this time. It's a 34.1, plays a 33.429. So I think those soft tyres have definitely gone off now from their best. JCGT was first, now third, but still picking up some good points on what will be his final lap of the race. Rhino in fifth. Then we've got Quicks and Apex Not Found. Apex Not Found on the soft tyres, Quicks on the medium. Newer tyres as well for Apex. Let's see if this becomes an overtake, potentially, as I think that we'll be heading towards the final lap of the final few moments of the race here for our leader, Pumpkin King. Right round the outside, defends Quicks really to get a faster line through, but Apex Not Found will get a quicker run through Curva del Sol then. We get those exhaust harmonics once again of the Audi. Will we see a manoeuvre coming up shortly from Apex Not Found? Well, actually, it was academic. It was easy work in the end. Breo, Gubinov and Kelvin the Boss have finished the race. It's the last. I know we will definitely have the final lap then. Pumpkin King comes up the hill to take a fabulous win for the Delesi Porsche squad. Pumpkin King wins in Interlagos round 4 of the G2 Championship. But how about this for the debut of the winningest driver in Adrian Newey League, but debuting in the Lexus that he absolutely despises. Finn finishing second for Team Mega in the Lexus. What a great debut, and with the fastest lap as well. JCGT, I don't know how we'll be feeling, but a podium is a podium for the championship leader in third place, and following closely behind him, the matte black JPI of Redux in fourth place. Apex Not Found, after that fairly easy overtake of Quicks, looks like he's going to get fifth place comfortably in the Audi. Quicks very slow on this final lap. I wonder if he's even running out of fuel. No, he's not. Flash of the lights from Apex Not Found in fifth place. Then we've got Quicks in sixth, Rhino in seventh, Apex Specs in eighth, and Monkey Games coming home in ninth, which confirms Badcourt Thingy, sadly, coming home in 10th place. that was the G1 round 4 of the 13 rounds of our SVR VR Sim Racing World Championship. I really hope you enjoyed it, and we will look forward to Daytona, the rounds of racing coming up. Thanks so much for watching. We will catch you on the next race day.